Talktainment Radio Worldwide Sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
All righty, good morning. Across the nation and around the world, you are welcomed into TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. You are in touch with the compensatory concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and this is radio the way it should be heard. Now, if you'd like to get in contact with the show, you can by calling 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. is on the line, live from Washington, D.C., and I trust it all is well in Washington, D.C. And Mr. Fuller, how are you this morning?
I'm still learning.
You are still learning. Okay, now Mr. Fuller wrote the book, and we say this every week, the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. And Mr. Fuller, I've been asked to ask you to just speak a minute or two on the book and where we can get that at.
You can get the book by going to producejustice.com. Producejustice.com. And what will come up on the screen is a brief description and a method for ordering the textbook workbook for thought, speech, and our action for victims of white supremacy, what we sometimes call racism. The main title of the book is the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, but that doesn't explain anything except when you get into the book. And that's an important title for the book. It's a very long title, but that wouldn't explain anything at a glance to the average reader. So I came up with a complementary title. I don't like to call it a subtitle, and that is a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and our action for victims of racism, which is explained as being white supremacy. And you can get it by going to producejustice.com, and what will come up on the screen is a brief description of the basic textbook, and then there's an additional book to the basic textbook. It's really an extension of the basic textbook called a counter-racist word guide. Now, some people have been a little bit confused about what the word guide does, but it's just a list of words, you might say. It's a pretty thick book, but it's a list of words of how words are used, certain words that you focus on. It doesn't include all the words, you might say, or not even a substantial portion of the words in a dictionary, but it does point out a number of words that in a racist system are very supportive of racism, or that brings into question what do the words mean, because the racists use words that are very confusing. They are masters of words. People who believe in racism, who believe in white supremacy, have a language, a codified language, that they express mostly in words. And they use words in such a manner that they have the intention of confusing their victims, because they found out that the more people are confused, the easier it is to control them. So these are words to look out for, and they are permeated many words are permeated right into the language that the white supremacists use themselves. Like, for example, the word dark or the word black. Everything in the English language, for the most part, is considered to be something derogatory or something dreaded or something that you avoid if it has the word dark associated with it or the word black. Like, for example, dark mood. Has anybody ever photographed a mood? Does anybody know what a dark mood looks like? So why would you call a mood dark? Because you're associating the word dark with a feeling that a person might have that is supposed to be something that is non-constructive. So that's what they have done, not only with the word dark and the word black. They have done a lot of words in such a manner, they use a lot of words in the English language, that's the white supremacists, that is, in such a manner as that the effect is being supportive of the system of white supremacy. You can get the books by going to producejustice.com. That's producejustice.com.
All righty, there you have it. Ed, let's go ahead and take that call. All righty, you are. Woo. Okay, well, I guess we won't do that because. Okay, caller, you can call back. The phone lines are now open. 1-877-932-9766 is the number that you can call. Sorry about that we didn't get that call in, but they are now open. Or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. Okay, now try that, Ed. Let's see here. Okay, caller, sorry about that. You are now on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question? Whoa. Okay, how about that one? Let's see if we can get that one in here. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see here. If we can, the miracle of, okay, you are now on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question?
Yes, I'm on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I remember Mr. Fuller saying a few things on some of his tapes about teaching or don't give the answers, I mean, like on the jobs, especially around a certain kind of way people, if you're they don't know something or you instructed, because, once you give these folks the answer, they can get real racist and try to turn into the boss. I mean, there's certain times when you just, you know what I mean? I believe it was in one of his tapes. I remember something about teaching. Anyhow, you can't give out the answers because people kind of turn on you, especially with racism on the jobs. I mean, you can't do that either with black people either because you got black men and women also that behave like prejudiced whites on the job. You teach them or instruct them in something, and 5 minutes later they think they're experts at something. So I just want to let Mr. Fuller know, and I want to get a comment. He's right about that. If that's what he was talking about, don't give them the answer, or let them answer back first, or something like that.
Mr. Fuller, are you familiar with that?
If I think it, I know what he's talking about. He's just talking about racism on the job, and how do you handle it? Just broadly speaking, but it goes into the details, just like everything is. It's about the details of what you say and what you do. Hello?
Yeah, you still go ahead.
Yes. What you say and what you do. This is how everything is about doing and saying. What you do say and what you don't say. And what you do and what you don't do. This is all everything is, regardless of whether you're on the job or any place else. All day long, you're saying something, or you're doing something, or there's a combination of both. What you want to do is that everything that you say has a constructive result, and everything that you do has a constructive result. It's just that simple. That's what compensatory counter-racist formulas are. That's what a code is supposed to do. It's supposed to be something that works all the time, not some of the time. Every time you do it, it always works. Otherwise, it's got no business being a part of a code. That's what a code is for, something that's exact. But when you do it, before you do it, that is going to have a constructive result.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same way on a job. Certain things you say, certain things you don't say. And so it comes down to every situation, in answer to the person's question. Every situation calls for a certain response. And what is that response? It's got to be codified in advance. Say, like, I think he mentioned something about talking about race on the job. You don't talk about race on the job. If you're a black person working among white people and other black people, you don't bring it up at all. Don't bring it up. Bring up the subject of justice, which means what? And be very specific about what you mean about that. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated, and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. And just concentrate on that.
Oh.
I mean, be willing to tell anybody and everybody. See, you can't wander off away from that. And if you stick with that, nobody can challenge you. Or rather, I'll put it this way: anybody who does is going to be stepping off a cliff.
Yes, that is true. We've had conversations this week just on that, making sure that we stay in that lane of justice. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. And we're having a little difficulty here. Let's see if we can get that one in. Can we get that one in? Okay. Oh, I apologize for that. We have a technician right here working on that. Doesn't look like that's going to go through. Wait a minute. Okay, we go through. Okay. All right, caller, you are now on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you are on now on. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Fuller. One thing you say all the time when you come on the air is that we as black men, we like to show off. Another thing I've noticed that we as black men like to do is we like to get every black woman we see into our possession and into our control. And when you look at the fact, when you consider the fact that over 70% of African American children are being raised in one-parent homes, primarily by the black woman, us as black men trying to get the black woman into our possession is producing nothing but a non-constructive result. So why is that? Why is it that every time we get with our women, everything we do with her is producing a non-constructive result? And I'd like to hear your answer, and I'll get off the air.
Okay, Mr. Fuller?
Because we're all prisoners of war, and we have no control over anything. But we like to strut around and pretend that we do. We think another hairdo, another tattoo, and another high five is the solution to every problem. That's both males and females. We're just as crazy as we can be. And this is why nothing ever changes. We're very superficial. We are not businesslike at all about the business that needs to be taken care of. And the black male walks around like he is in some kind of authority over the black female. The black female does have an authority figure. And every last one of them is white. Just like the black male has the same authority figure. And every last one of them is white. So what is all this pretense about? The black male has been raised up for generations. I mean, that John Henry image and whatnot. And thinking that bulging muscles and taking off your shirt and walking up and down the street, I mean, flexing your muscles and talking about how many weights you can lift and all like that. That's not about anything. That's not real power. That's not about anything. Showing off your tattoo and all that, getting another hairdo, doing a whole lot of loud talking and high-fiving and whatnot, that's not producing anything. It never has, and it never will. The black male needs to get out of that image of, I'm a man. Now, that's the term that I keep hearing. Black men, black women. There's no such thing as a black man and a black woman in the system of white supremacy. I'm going to say that again. There are no such individuals, no such people as a black man and a black woman in a system of white supremacy. So what do you have? You have black males and black females, and both of them are in the boy and girl category worldwide, not just in one location or some locations, and not some time. There's no time when a black male is a man in the system of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a total contradiction. And he has no authority over anything, particularly the black female. So we need to stop acting like we have.
Okay.
We asked the black female to cooperate with us. And if she is not willing to do so, then we'll just throw up both hands and say, well, I'll try to find one that will cooperate, because I have no right to try to boss her at not even for 5 minutes, telling her what she'd better do. Why? Because I am a prisoner of war just like she is, and I don't have that kind of authority. I have not earned it, and my parents before me didn't earn it, and their parents before them didn't earn it. Why? Because we became prisoners of the system of white supremacy, and all of our bosses are white.
All righty. Talktainment Radio is a 24/7 no-charge worldwide broadcasting facility that have hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, health, wellness, religion, and politics. Now, here's one that I would like to share with you, and it's called The Wiggins World of Wellness. Host Stacy Wiggins started out his career as a licensed massage therapist, and in 1994 he became the world's first African-American alphabetist. Passionate about the knowledge of the human body, its anatomy and physiology, you can learn and have fun and share in the wisdom of wellness. This is broadcast on Thursdays, and it is exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. That is radio the way it should be heard. 1-877-932-9766 is the number you can call, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. We're speaking with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., the author of the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. It's a textbook that you can get by going to producejustice.com, and all the information you need to get that book is right there. Quickly, this would probably be the last month unless donations increase on donating to the compensatory concept. Now, Mr. Fuller doesn't get anything for this, and neither do I, as a matter of fact. But if you would like to make the donation to the compensatory concept, go to K&E World Network, Post Office Box 6184, Columbus, Ohio, 43206. Now, we will accept a money order or a bank check, but no personal checks. We will email you your receipt, and all donations are final. Now, the purpose is to extend the compensatory concept for and an additional hour, making it a 2-hour program. Our goal is to cover 1 year's worth of programming. That's why we want to do this. You said that you want that, so let's get those donations in. But if they do not increase, then I've been told by management that we will cease this, and those that have sent money's in will get a refund. Okay, back to the show. Mr. Fuller, I was asked a question. You spoke on a previous show about don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. Well, a young brother had asked me, he said, well, what if a police officer stops him? What is he supposed to do, especially when they want to see his driver's license or his registration? Now, he told me that he was afraid to make a move for either, because a lot of the police officers have itchy trigger fingers and could say, as he was reaching for his wallet or his registration, that he felt that the officer could say that he felt his life was in danger and fire some shots. What advice do you have for a situation like that?
Before you make any move, first of all, put your hands up as high as you can get them, and spread the fingers on each hand as best you can, and stand there like a statue. Don't move. Don't move anything consider yourself a captured prisoner of war, because that's what you are anyway. Get that fixed in your mind. You just dropped out of an airplane behind enemy lines, and now you are surrounded by enemy soldiers. You have to assume that this person may be a race soldier, not a police officer, but a race soldier. A race soldier is a white person who is in a uniform, carrying a badge, and has the authority, according to law, to make arrests and to cause sudden death. He is an imposter, or she is an imposter, if she is not a police officer, but a race soldier in disguise. Many of them are. A great number of them aren't, presumably. But you can't assume that. So you assume you are now behind enemy lines and you have been captured. You are wearing the uniform, which is your dark skin, of an enemy to the white supremacist establishment. That automatically makes you an enemy. You're born with a dark skin. You are an enemy of the system of white supremacy. That's the way the white supremacists look at it. If you are looking at a white supremacist wearing a badge and a gun and pretending to be a police officer. So what you do is put up your hands and comply. Even ask, what do you want me to do, sir or ma'am? And always be polite. Everything is sir, everything is ma'am. None of this MF nothing, and none of this you ain't got no business pulling me over, and none of this, ghetto theatrics that will get you absolutely nothing. That works with black people. It does not work with a white supremacist for 2 seconds, and they know it, and we know it, and we should stop jiving ourselves about that. Stop playing with fire, because that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you do everything that he or she tells you to do. Now, this person, just like any soldier on a battlefield, soldiers who have been on battlefields know this. That soldier just may decide, you know what, I'm not going to talk to this person at all. I'm not going to search him. I'm not going to take them in for questioning. I'm not going to capture them and make them what you call a typical prisoner of war. I don't feel like being bothered this morning. I'm going to kill this person. So if the person kills you, consider yourself killed. You're dead. But that goes with the territory. But I'm saying expect to be dead when you get pulled over. When you see those blinking lights in your rearview mirror, you say, today I may not carry out any mission that I have on my own. Today, I might just be dead, even though I just have a broken tail light. But I just might be dead about that broken tail light today. Mm-hmm. I have just been pulled over in enemy territory. Consider all territories as enemy territories under those circumstances.
Well, the young brother had mentioned that when he got pulled over, he was sitting in the car, and the officer wanted to see his driver's license and registration. Well, his driver's license was in his rear pocket, and the registration was in the trunk. But he was, in the glove compartment. But he was afraid to go into his back pocket and retrieve his driver's license, and he was afraid to go into his glove compartment to get his registration because that move could be construed as he was reaching for something which would give the suspected race soldier an opportunity to kill them, and he didn't know what to do.
Absolutely. And I would too. I would be afraid. Any move that I make may mean my death right there. 4 9mm right in my face. Bullets going through my head. Boom, 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 just like that. That's all I know. And all I was doing was reaching for my wallet. So I'm saying you consider yourself as being captured and that this person is going to kill you. This is the way you have to look at it.
Yes, sir. Stop
playing. But you may be dead anyway, even though you conform to everything.
Okay.
See, we have to realize we are in a war. People keep saying, do you think we might be headed for a race war? And my answer is a codified answer. We have always been in a race war. It's not in a race war that's going to get started. This war has never been declared over. There's never even been a truce. So we are always in captivity, and we are always victims of the system of white supremacy, and we are always prisoners of that war. You're in a prison. The entire planet is a prison for people of dark skin in the system of white supremacy.
Okay.
This is the truth. I'm either telling the truth or I'm saying something that's absolutely false.
Okay.
And anybody, white or non-white, who wants to step forward and say, because somebody probably is saying, oh, who is that guy? You know, talking that lunatic talk and all like that. Well, here again, I like to interject this every now and then when I'm talking. What I'm saying is either true or false. And let's put it to a test and see if it's true or false.
Oh.
And when I say let's, I mean everybody in the world. Put that to a test and see if that's true or false.
Okay. From the Gmails, we have a question from Thomas. He says this, Mr. Fuller. He says, on the back cover of the compensatory code book, and next to Mr. Fuller's name is the 1/0. He says, I have read in the compensatory code that code names are permissible, and would 1/0 be Mr. Fuller's? If so, could he explain its meaning? Thank you for your time.
Yes, I used to call that myself that. I mean, along with the name Neely Fuller Jr. But I just said, but that's a reminder to me, that 1/0 that's in parentheses.
Yes.
And I dropped it, on if you will notice, on the back of the word guide. I don't have it on there because that's mostly just directed to me as a name or title or an evaluation of myself. Now, what that means is it's a reminder to myself that that 0 means nothing. And on the other side of the slash is the 1. And that 1 means everything. So I consider myself to be a composite of nothing and everything, because everything comes from nothing. And so that's just a reminder that I'm never to look up to myself or never look down on myself. I'm just here. I'm here in the universe, and I'm supposed to be doing something while I'm here. But I never get the big head about what it is that I'm doing, no matter what I accomplish, if it's anything at all, or if I accomplish nothing. You know, I don't look down on myself, and I don't look up to myself. I don't have any pride in anything. I don't take pride in anything. That's another thing. This thing about, you know, having black pride and all like that. I don't have any kind of pride. It's not about pride. I'm not looking for pride. Pride is not anything that you are supposed to be achieving. You're supposed to be solving problems. And you don't take pride in solving problems. You just solve problems because that's what you're here for anyway. Everything that I received is a gift. I came from nothing because everything began with nothing. And I will wind up being nothing. But nothing is something because nothing itself is something. I mean, but what it all means, I don't know. But I do know, or have reason to believe, based on what? On logic, that I'm supposed to be solving problems with the few gifts that I have. That's what that 1/0 means.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I didn't put it in a capsule nutshell, but it's just all over the place when you say 1/0. But it's a reminder to me. What am I here for? What am I? What am I? When you say Neely Fuller, what does that mean? If I didn't have a name and I just walked around with being a nameless person, I'm still a person, I guess, but I'm some type of organism. And so what am I supposed to be doing in this vast, complicated universe? Because I'm not just on this planet, I'm in the entire universe. And what does my place in the universe mean from 1 minute to the next, all day? That's what that 1/0 is supposed to keep reminding me of.
Okay, well, Thomas, there you go with your, as Mr. Fuller addressed your issue. TalkTameAtRadio.com. We... Okay, we're back. TalkTameAtRadio.com. We go where you go, and you can download the TalkTameAtRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. This is the compensatory concept, and I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby. And we have Mr. Neely Fuller on the line who will answer or address your issues and questions, and you can do that by calling 1-877-932-9766. He's the author of the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, and you can get that book, and I strongly recommend that you do by getting in contact with the website that is at producejustice.com. And if you'd like to make a donation to the show, which we strongly suggest you do, you can do that by going to K&E World Network, Post Office Box 6184, Columbus, Ohio 43206. I was given some additional information on that. Now, here is the cost per one additional hour of the show. It's only $60. $60, okay? And the yearly cost is $3,120. And I was given the information that we have met only about 2% of that goal. So you need to call in and get that donation so we can go an additional hour. That's only going to be $60 for the next hour. That's all. And $3,120 for the full year. I don't think that's too much to ask, but that's just me. All righty, let's go back. Mr. Fuller, I was given this. The question came in, how do you guarantee that all are treated equally? Speaking about the compensatory term that you use for justice, how do you guarantee that all are treated equally, and how do you guarantee that those that need the most help get it?
That's something that has to evolve. That's something that has to be figured out. That's the process. That's the compensatory process. That's why I called it the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. If we do and say certain things, it will be leading in the direction of producing what we call justice. Mm-hmm. Justice is not something that you find somewhere, like, it's in some green box up under the desert somewhere. I mean, the Egyptian desert or something. Justice is something you have to produce. It's never been done. So that's all unknown territory. In fact, the word justice itself does not have a understandable definition, according to what I have read. When I open the standard dictionaries and whatnot, I can't really get a grasp of what would justice really look like. What would it seem to be? In 1994, I found out that there was no legal definition for the word justice. That's why I made up one that I think will stand the test of time until someone comes along with better. And if someone comes along with a definition better than that, then I will adopt that definition. But if you don't have a definition for something that you're seeking to achieve, how do you know when you have achieved it? So I simply said, well, it most likely would have guarantees if you're going to have justice. And like you have guarantees on a watch, or something that you buy and it doesn't work, a garment that is torn or something, and you have some type of guarantee. You say you have a warranty on it, or a warranty on a car, That's some kind of a guarantee that if this engine fails within 6 months, we will give you another engine or another car. So it's the same way with this thing called justice. It should have guarantees. Otherwise, it'll just be sliding all over the place and slipping away from you. So you want to cement it in place. And it will have those two elements, guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. Now, that's never been done by anybody anywhere. There's no place on this planet where justice exists. That has to be produced. And then the other part is guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. Now, that doesn't exist anywhere on the planet. So this is all new territory. But at least we have a definition that we can strive to produce. So we can look at any situation and say, like someone's opened this program talking about a job situation. So on the job, if it's 15 people working in this particular small factory or something like that, first order of business is anybody here being mistreated? Whoever's being mistreated, whomever's being mistreated, hold up your hand. So Mary Jones holds up her hand. I'm being mistreated. Okay, Miss Jones, you're being mistreated. You're being mistreated how? What constitutes the mistreatment? Since you're saying that you're being mistreated, we weren't aware, or at least I'm the supervisor, I'm the owner, I wasn't aware that you were being mistreated. So how are you being mistreated? So Miss Jones can make her case how she's being mistreated, because mistreatment has to do with comparison. In answer to the person's question, you know that you are being mistreated. I have said this on this program. Sometimes little children can see that the other children got, 3 oranges, and here, this child is standing here, and he didn't get any orange. And, the child doesn't say anything, but the child is standing there. You can see it in their little eyes that this is something, I don't know, what's going on here. The other children, everybody's passing out oranges, all the other children, 9 of them, got 3 oranges apiece. And here's little Ronnie over here, a little Kamani, a little Sheila, and she didn't get anything. That's mistreatment.
That's mistreatment.
A child can see that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to voice it. They don't know what words to use. They don't say anything. But they just stand there, and you can see it in their little innocent eyes.
In their innocent eyes.
And it's the same way with us. We know when somebody's being mistreated. I mean, stop kidding about that.
Mm-hmm.
In this system of white supremacy, we know, both white people and non-white people know when someone is being mistreated. If we've been around for just a little while, just a few days on this planet, and you begin to see that.
Okay.
Now, the other part is the constructive part. Guarantee that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. Now, in this case, if Mary's or little Kamani or little Sheila didn't get any oranges, constructive help means you go over there to the orange basket and get Sheila 3 oranges and take Sheila 3 oranges and give Sheila those 3 oranges, and then she can get the nutrition that she needs to carry out her studies, because now she's got the most constructive help, because now she can sit in her seat and not be hungry, and she can think better when she's doing her mathematical equations.
Yes, sir. TalkTameAtRadio.com. We go where you go. Download the TalkTameAtRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. My name is Mr. Bobby, the co-host of The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And if you would like to get in contact with the show, you can by calling 1-877-932-9766, or you can Gmail me at 7mrbobby@gmail.com. We have a phone. Okay, call. You're now on with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. What is your question? Hello?
Morning, Mr. Fuller. Mr.
Okay.
Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Calvin from Georgia. I was want to see what Mr. Fuller thought about when people talk about reparations for blacks, and as far as us having, kind of like, you hear a lot of older folks that I talk to say that they felt like we was better off back in the 60s and the 50s when we had land and had our own businesses and all that. And I hear Mr. Fuller say, but if you're still inside the prison walls. So if we had our own land and jobs and stuff, Mr. Fuller, will we still be subject to race? In other words, my question is, could you have justice and racism at the same time?
Absolutely not. That's why the entire world is under the system of white supremacy. And therefore, justice cannot exist in that system. It's impossible. It's impossible to have racism and justice on the same planet at the same time. It cannot be done. I'm going to say that again. It is absolutely impossible to have justice and white supremacy on the same planet at the same time. If you have white supremacy, it's impossible to have justice anywhere. You can't get it. You're not going to get any guarantee that no person is mistreated. You're not going to get any guarantee that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. It's not going to happen, period. I don't care how you shake it up and pour it, it's going to come out to be non-justice and non-constructive activity. Why? Because the system of racism guarantees that there won't be any justice. The system of racism itself is designed to guarantee that there won't be any guaranteed constructive help for any person on the planet. You'll get help. Lots of black people get help. But in the long run, the help is not constructive because we get help all the time. The white supremacist comes around and made sure that black people have access to guns and the drugs. And then they mix the two, and you see the result of that. Guns and drugs. Is that constructive help? No, but they see to it that we get plenty of it.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in the drugs first, then bring in the guns behind the drugs, and then they sit back behind the wall and say, now watch what happens. Watch what happens. We're not giving them anything else. We're not giving them any jobs. We're not giving them anything, but we are making drugs at least something that they have access to. And at one time, a Negro back in the old days with a gun was considered to be very dangerous to the system of white supremacy. But when we put the drugs among them and then seal them off in certain sections and whatnot and crowd them into buildings, and then we don't put any money in there, we don't give anybody any decent anything, and then we put nothing but drugs in there, and then we bring in guns behind the drugs by the carload, and then we sit back and watch what happens just in that one building. You know what's going to happen before it happens, because there's nothing in there but guns and drugs. So the people say, well, this is all we have, so what do we do with guns and drugs? Well, we wind up destroying each other. So that's by design.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The white supremacists figured that out a long time ago, and they just didn't do it in this area of the world. They did it among the people who we call Chinese. It was called the Opium Wars at one time. They talk about it in their own and brag about it in their own history books.
Mm-hmm.
How they had the people all strung out on opium and killing themselves and killing each other. About what? Something that's basically nothing but poison. It doesn't help anybody do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But many of us have been trained to embrace all the things that the white supremacists put on us that don't help us to do anything of constructive value.
Okay. All right, caller. Thank you for your call. Thank you very, 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 very much. Mr. Fuller, before we go to that, are you familiar with the land called, rather, a documentary called The Stealing of a Nation, speaking about Diego Garcia. Are you familiar with that since you were in the military?
No.
Okay.
What is it about?
How the British and the United States stole a nation from the people that lived in Diego Garcia, and what they did to do that to those people, mistreatment of those people, and completely took their land and took them off, and then put a base down there where allegedly the flight, Malaysian flight MH370 had landed there down near, I guess it's in the southern Indian Ocean. But they went in to describe how they systematically took the land with the laws that the United States and England made against those people, and completely uprooted them and so forth. And I was wondering if you were aware or knew anything, since you were in the military, about Diego Garcia. It's a big military base.
No, I'm not aware of that specific thing, but I am aware of the system of white supremacy. See, we can just broad brush everything, the entire planet. Just look at the entire planet, and just erase all the lines on the maps.
Okay.
And just say what we have here on this planet are people. We have white people, we have non-white people, and we have white supremacists. And the white supremacists are dominant over all of the non-white people. That doesn't say that all white people are, because there are many black people who could be classified as white. So you're not just talking about a color thing, per se. You're talking about what people have done with the color and non-color thing. And the white supremacists, they are a political system and a religious system that has come out of the white people who have decided that they're going to set up that type of dominant system worldwide. So when they did it worldwide. So when you say that the United States or England and whatnot, these are the incorrect terms, really, to apply to it. Just say the system of white supremacy. There's no such thing as the United States of America. It doesn't exist. That's an idea that is yet to be achieved. You have a United States of white supremacy, and they're not in any one locality. You wouldn't say that they're just in what we call the Northwestern Hemisphere. Each white supremacist is a state of being, just like every person is a state of being. So states of being unite in order to do what? In order to accomplish something. That's what unity is for. You're supposed to be accomplishing something. So when you have unity among white supremacists, it is to accomplish and maintain and expand and refine the system of white supremacy. That these are the most united people on the planet. They have unity. All the other non-white people don't have any unity. They just think that they do.
Okay.
I mean, and this so-called thing called the black community and all like that, it doesn't exist. And we need to stop using that term. There's no such thing as a black community. It's impossible to have a black community in a system of white supremacy. We're just a bunch of prisoners walking around bumping into each other and then lashing out at each other, stepping on each other's toes, and then fighting about the stepping.
Okay, we have a question from Brother Mirtu from, he says, in his words, so-called French Guiana. He said, my question, Mr. Fuller, is why, and I'm going to read it just exactly as he wrote it, why non-white people can't accept the way of living and decisions of other ones who are trying to get out of the box. That's just the way he wrote it. Can you answer or respond to that, sir?
How can non-white people
can't accept the way of living and decision of other ones who are trying to get out of the box? That is just the way he wrote it.
Oh, well, he probably means, I guess, non-white people can't influence each other to do the things that need to be done. It's because we're confused. That's why. And that's what codification is supposed to do. Eliminate the confusion. First of all, by doing what? looking for the truth. Now, you start with the truth by saying that the entire planet is dominated, as far as people of color are concerned, by people who believe in white supremacy. And what is white supremacy? It's dominating and mistreating people based on color. Very simple formula. That's why it's so powerful, because it is so simple. You dominate, you just simply look at a person. If you're white, if you're classified as white, born and white, and somebody told you that you were white when you were born, and then told you that that meant something, and you say, well, what does that mean? You know, I'm born white. Okay, so I look at my skin, and it does look white. So what does that mean? Say, well, that means now you got a choice to make. You can either be a white supremacist or you cannot be one. And it's a lot of benefits that go with being a white supremacist. And I'll say, okay, so I'm a white person. Now, what is this? What's these benefits that I get? Well, it means that you are eligible to dominate and mistreat people who are eligible to be dominated and mistreated. I say, oh, okay, well, dominate and mistreat, and I get anything out of that? Say, yes. Now, people who have color in their skin, you dominate and mistreat them to your satisfaction, and nothing would be done about it. Mm-hmm. You have complete impunity. Nobody's going to harm you if you do this, because that's your assignment as a white person. Mm-hmm. Now, do you sign on for this deal? Because, see, that's a choice you have to make if you're white. Do you sign on to accept these benefits? Because there's all kind of benefits. So I ask, naturally, if somebody makes a proposition to me, well, what kind of benefits? Say, well, you get three things. You get fun, you get glory, and you get material benefits, unlimited.
Wow.
Now, every now and then you will have a problem, maybe, with other white people. Because it's a little competition here between us. But you will always be able to lord it over non-white people, wherever they are. And so I will look at that as a white person and say, well, that sounds pretty rough, but it does. As far as me is concerned, it sounds like a pretty good offer. Mm-hmm. And so I just might take it. So that's all it is.
All it is. He says, can you imagine what would happen if we step outside of our mental plantations and be constructive to each other in every situation 24/7?
Absolutely. That's what counter-racist codification is supposed to do, and we can start. See, because codification, I've been doing a lot of talking all these weeks and months and years, but it comes down to the doing part. And what we should do, first of all, make every contact constructive. That means, and that's devastating to black people, because we are used to high-fiving and just saying anything and doing anything just any kind of old way. We get on these modern communications devices, and we just, simply because we have these little toys to play with under the system of white supremacy, we just contact each other all day long. We contact each other in order to do what? In order to just make trivial conversation. Well, trivial conversation is not trivial if you're talking about the black people, particularly in the northwestern hemisphere. It is not constructive at all, and it spreads poison. Why? Because we, as black people, and this is something we have to admit, are poisonous people. Poison has been put into us. So the more contacts we have with other black people, the more poison is spreaded. And this is why we can't have any kind of large gathering. 10 or 15 or 20 or 6 dozen black people together is almost a recipe.
Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come.